Hello, everybody. So today I'm going to be continuing my Twine to How series, or whatever. So basically, last time I talked about basics and variables, and those are very important. But today I'm going to be talking about a few macros, one of them being the random numbers macro. You can also do random words, but I'll talk about those later. Today we're going to be talking about random numbers. So this is the best thing that I've found that describes a random number macro, and it makes a lot of sense to me, and they give really good examples. It's in ohiophi.com. If you just search up random numbers twine, ohiophi.com, this will pop up. Alright, so let's read this. Games are more interesting if they are different each time you play. In board games, rolled dice and shuffled cards are typical. In video games, random numbers are used. You can use the code RANDOM to roll dice and get a number between 1 and 6. The code below says to the computer, generate a number between 1 and 6. If you roll a 1, the player has found $1. Okay, so right here, as you can see, it says set this variable, which is dice roll. Of course, you can name that whatever you want, but they call it dice roll, to random 1 through 6. So basically what this is doing is it's assigning this variable to a random number between 1 through 6. And you have to put 2 brackets because there's a bracket right here, and that's basically like this is the opening and closing bracket, and then this is the opening and closing for this part. So you have to put 2 brackets here, if that makes sense. And then it says if dice roll is 1, so if it rolls a 1 when you click on this passage, it'll say you found $1, and then set money to money plus 1. So this is just another example of it, but you don't need to read that, it's fine. Anyway, so now if we go off to Twine, random macros are very important. But before we get into those, I just want to clarify something. And I will be starting a new story because I did say that I would, but first I have to clarify this. If this didn't make sense to anyone. I was thinking about it. What's the point of having a variable to keep your health if you're just going to set a whole new variable to keep track of it, which is in this case H and K. The reason why is because the way variables work is this right here. Whenever you click on this beginning passage, it's always going to be setting the variable to 20. So if you don't want to have a whole nother variable to be keeping track of this one, you would have to have a starting screen and then set the variable to 20 in that. So it's automatically started at 20. And then when you actually get in the game, you can change it. Now, right now, just because it's in the beginning passage, I had to create a new variable to keep track of it. But only for this beginning passage, okay? This variable is only going to be needed for these 2 passages. Later on, you can change it with just the health variable. Or, in this case, it's just called variable. Alright, so now that I have that all cleared up, if it makes sense, hopefully it does, now it's time to get into the actual story. By the way, I'm going to be showing y'all how to make the whole health system with the starting screen, because it's much easier. Okay, so let's call this story Robber. Okay, let's add that. Okay, so we have this passage. If y'all watched my last video, all this makes sense to you. And do not press these. Again, do not press these boxes. Alright. So let's get into this. Let's start editing it. Okay. Let's say you wake up in the middle of the night and hear a noise coming from the outside of your window. So obviously this isn't going to be a very good story, but it's very good to show examples and stuff. So so now it's time to make some choices. So we're just going to do one of them as, how about get out of bed? Okay. Then we'll have another one, open window. Okay, we have these 2 variables these 2 choices that we can choose from. Alright. So the first one, let's do, how about open window? Now, actually, first, we are going to want to set a health system and an inventory. So, health, and then we're going to have inventory. Now, as you can tell, inventory is a passage. You don't have to make it a passage, and I'll show you how to do it without having to make a passage. But just for the sake of showing another macro, which is the history macro, I'm going to make it a passage. Okay. You'll see what I mean in a little bit. Alright, so first we're going to start with our health. So we're going to do the classic stuff. I'm just going to speed through this because you already know all of it. So I'm just going to call it H. Let's say open window, you lose 5 health. You open the window and the breeze. I don't even know how to spell breeze. I'm sorry. Breeze. Or the heavy wind blows you back. You trip and fall. You lose. Let's do 5 health. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do the starting screen. So we're gonna have a starting screen right here, and then the way you actually change the passage from being the beginning passage is by going to here and click on that, and then it'll switch it. And then right here we'll have, first we have to name this. So let's name it begin. And then right over here we'll do, no, I don't want that. Actually, we'll name this starting screen for later. Okay. And over here we're going to write down, welcome to the robber. Press play to begin. Okay. Now we're just going to have play, and then we're going to have that be going to the begin passage. Okay. So we have that all worked out. We're actually going to set the health variable in this one instead of this one because we're not in the game yet, and it's best to set the variables before you get in the game, unlike the last one that I did. So I'm going to do set H to H, dang it, why is it capitalized? H to 10. Okay, so they're only going to have 10 health. And right here, as you can see, it's 10. So right here, we're going to do set H to H minus 5. So now that we have that worked out, this is literally all that we need to do for the health system. Welcome to the robber. Press play to begin. Okay. I'm in the middle of the night. Blah, blah, blah. Inventory, we'll be working on that later. So we have 10 health. Open window. You lose 5 health. Oh, I actually need to make passages and stuff on this one. So then we're going to just say health H. And then we'll do a back, begin. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Now this should work. This is all we need to do for the health system because we have that beginning screen. So we have 10 health, open window, 5 health, 5 health. Okay, so we have that worked out. Good. Actually, I don't think I'm going to be able to cover my inventory for now. But what I am going to cover before I end this episode is the random macro. So we're going to go to the get out of bed passage and we're going to say, you get up and see your door. Okay, so we have that worked out. And then we're going to do, down here, we need to do it above it. So this right here is going to have to be kind of far down because, oh great, hold on. Okay, there we go. Because we have to set some stuff up here. So do set, we're going to set a variable called, how about knife to random 1 through 4. Okay. So I'm going to get into that whole knife variable in just a little bit. So right here I'm going to do if knife is 1, then we're going to do and your knife on your dresser. So what this is doing is it's making it where there's a small chance of the knife actually appearing. So it might not appear. And the way we make it, then what happens if we have this instead? We just don't have to put anything. So if it's 1, then it's going to show that. But if it's 3, 2, 3, or 4, it's not going to show anything. Okay, so let's see. We have a random chance to find the knife. And actually, we need to make that a choice. Okay. Now, if we go into here, play. Yeah, get out of bed. You get up and see your door. Okay, well, so as you can see, the knife was set to the number 2. So what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna keep going in here until I see it. Okay. The number 4, okay. Let's see, can we do it again? There we go. And your knife on the dresser. You get up and see your door and your knife on your dresser. Alright, that's all that I have time for today. So as you can see, the random macro works very well. There's a small chance of this popping up. And if this doesn't make sense to you, all it's doing is it's setting the knife variable to a random number between 1 and 4. So yeah, it's really simple. And we can actually make that go back a little bit. Okay, so now that we've done all that, next time I will be getting into how to make an inventory, and I will be getting into the click replace macro, if I have time. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something.